What's going on, champs and champions? It's FireMonkey here, and in today's YouTube video, we have to talk about a brand new set of weapon modifications coming to the game in the near future, including a brand new category for your weapons called amps. Now, before I even mention anything, I do want to mention that amps are kind of being compared by the community to stuff in Modern Warfare 3 called aftermarket parts, which are basically ways to completely modify a weapon. These amps, in my opinion, I personally dubbed as amplifiers just because once we get into more details on how they work, they will make your guns a lot different, such as being able to change the fire rate, being able to change how much crit damage you do with headshots, and much more. But before we talk about that, I think we should talk about the normal actual modifiers for the weapons that you can be seeing added very soon, because it's not a whole entire new category. Firstly, we have new weapon barrels / muzzles. We have the muzzle breach, which is actually a variant of the break muzzle you can currently put on your weapons in game. It is in the barrel category. However, I've seen some people mention that, barrels and muzzles are kind of two separate things, but it is something to look out for. Other weapon barrels include a long barrel, which might be similar to, like the longness of a sniper. For example, if we go ahead, actually that's an assault rifle. I thought this was going to be a sniper, but imagine this little part right here being a little bit longer, like maybe to like halfway where the suppressor is. That's kind of what the long barrel would do. So it most likely would help you do more damage at a longer range. We have the fire barrel, which I'm not too for sure how this one is going to work, especially when we talk about some amps being added later down the line, but it is something that is in the files and, has been referenced, so I thought I would go ahead and mention that to you guys. And then we have the triple barrel. This is something I feel will only be for stuff like shotguns, because I couldn't really see someone going out of their way and, using the triple barrel or something like that on a normal assault rifle. It just wouldn't make too much sense, but of course I'll leave that for you guys to speculate down below. Those are the new barrels and muzzles being worked on for new updates and everything else, however, and it is interesting to see how we are going to be getting updates and new modifications to the weapon mod system that is already in existence. For weapon magazines, we do have a few being worked on, such as an overload magazine, an extended magazine, and a quick magazine. Some of these are, of course, going to change how many bullets you're able to actually shoot before having to reload, and some of them are going to be more focused on how quickly you're going to be able to reload your gun. Something I thought was interesting was the overload magazine. Maybe it's going to be some unique little flair where it's like, hey, the final few bullets of your gun are going to deal bonus damage or something. I'm not entirely for sure, but it is interesting to see how it's being worked on. And then for weapon underbarrels, we have the speed foregrip. This is a variant of the foregrip we already have in the game, mainly focused on more speed. The only thing I could really think about them doing with that is maybe making it so like you scope in faster or something along those lines, or sprint faster. I'm not entirely for sure what they plan to do there, but it is something I thought I'd mention because it is being worked on. Other than that, though, we have new categories, the weapon amp category, the weapon amplifiers or aftermarket parts, whatever else, that really will be changing some of your guns up. The first one here is automatic fire. So basically, you can take a weapon that maybe is a burst fire or a single shot, and you can make it something where you can just hold down the bullet or hold down the trigger and just go brrr or whatever else, right? It will be a way for you to turn any weapon into a very rapid fire, haste to use actual, basically automatic fire weapon in the game, and it would be interesting to see if you'll be able to put this on everything, or if it's mainly going to be for something such as, SMGs that are very restricted on some of their fire shots or whatnot, right? Because imagine using a burst SMG, I think it's the hyper burst or whatever, and going ahead and putting automatic fire as an amplifier on it. Would it still be called a burst SMG, or would it be turned into another SMG that we already have in the game? Not entirely for sure, but of course that is one of the new aftermarket parts being worked on, or amplifiers, whatever you want to call them. And our next one is a crit damage multiplier. This one is pretty simply put, whenever you get a headshot in an enemy, it will do a little bit higher damage than you're used to actually seeing from that weapon. So instead of right here where we see those exclamation marks that are doing that amount of damage, it would do a little bit higher. I'm not for sure if this would be like a 1.5 times or a 2 times or what, but it is something that they're working on, and it is going to be interesting to see that one once it releases in the game. And then the third one, which is my personal favorite one that I'm most excited for, is a flaming bullets weapon amplifier. This will make it so that whenever you shoot a bullet, it will go ahead and make whatever it lands on catch on fire. It might not work on actual players or anything. You might have to shoot it at an actual structure, but imagine being able to just burn down a whole entire wooden structure by shooting it with your gun. I could see this being an amplifier that could only be applied on certain things like snipers, but it would be interesting to see how they actually go about implementing this in the game, and I definitely would end up rocking snipers, especially a lot more if this was something exclusive to them that would be able to go ahead and put flaming bullets on, because I just like watching the world burn down. And then our final one is a little bit of a gimmicky one that I couldn't really see them putting in the game, but at the same time maybe they will, and it is a restoring stamina shot. This is a very odd one, and I know maybe just by hearing that you're like, what is going on here? But basically it makes it so that whenever you shoot an enemy, you'll be able to restore some of your stamina. So imagine if, for example, I shoot an enemy or something, and I have my stamina bar down there in the bottom left, halfway gone, it would actually either replenish that, or maybe it'll give me the slap effect for a few seconds. It's a little odd to see how they would make that actually be working or implemented into the game, but at the exact same time, if you really think about it, Fortnite isn't trying to be the most realistic game out there. I mean, even by the graphics alone, right? I am running around with a giant little, like, pilly plushie on my back, so it's not like this game is trying to be the most serious Call of Duty contender out there or whatever else, but it is interesting to see all these different weapon modifications and categories being worked on. You know, I'd love to hear in the comments down below, what do you think could make a powerful amplifier in the game? What would be a cool little amplifier that you wish they would put in here that could kind of replace augments in a weird way, or maybe be a better addition to augments? Because as we do know, as you can even see by the quest I have pinned in the top right, augments will be returning very, very soon, so if we have amplifiers for weapons and augments at the exact same time, imagine how chaotic some of these games could actually be, especially like fire bullets or like automatic fire, while also having, you know, like a super jump augment or something along those lines. It will be quite an interesting time. But of course, we don't have an ETA release date for when all these different amplifiers and everything else will come into the game. And of course, Epic Games can decide to scrap things anytime they want, but it is in the files, and it does look like they're prepared to release it whenever they want to, especially considering some of the other things that have been leaked from this update and everything else are things that have been referenced in the files, despite those specific files not even being in the current build of the game. So I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing more of these little amplifiers and more of these weapon modifications being enabled for us to actually use in the near future, and they're all already supported for bots. So you can find normal bots in bot lobbies, such as what we're playing right now, running around with these new actual amplifiers or modifications once they get enabled in the game for everyone to use, which I think is very cool because it also confirms that, hey, if they decide to just flip a switch tomorrow, release a new update and add some of these new things, it'll be fully prepared not only for us to use, but for all the AI on the island to use as well, to their advantage. But until next time, hope you champs and champions enjoyed today's YouTube video. Like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't like it, and I'll catch you all next time with another upload. Peace out.